Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, everybody? The hell is going on, everybody? Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you guys hanging out here on this Tuesday, March 24th, almost 3 months into 2026. What the hell's going on here with the time, man? Jesus Lord. Cheers to everybody. You watched last night's Lakers game. My apologies. They'll be fine. They'll be all right. Got a lot to get into this morning, and looking forward to doing the show with everybody. Got a lot of good topics. Got a couple of reminders for Harrah Resort. Doing a live post-game show coming up there in about a week and a half after the Lakers take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. All right, cheers to everybody. Got Eric back in the background producing. I was a lost soul yesterday trying to do the show by myself. I had no idea what to do anymore. Even had to log in to StreamYard. I had no idea what was going on. All right, let me give everyone a quick idea of what we got for the show. Quick rundown, what we're going to be talking about today. Obviously, we'll spend a lot of time taking a look at some of the comments. So thank you very much for being here. Got a lot of good topics, too. I think some good topics that are coming up right now that clearly around the Lakers will be interesting to hit on. And the NBA as well. Okay, so real quick, 9-game winning streak snapped. What did we learn over those 9 games? What did we learn about the Lakers over the course of the last 3 weeks or so? I do think that they definitely did change the narrative. I do think they're a lot better of a team than we thought they were. I do think that their foundation of who they are looks a lot different than it was 9 games ago, 10 games ago, however you want to look at it. So we'll spend a little time about the win streak being snapped, that loss to the Pistons yesterday. But I think more importantly is, what did we learn about the Lakers over this stretch? I mean, I learned some stuff about Luka. I learned some stuff about LeBron. I learned about the Lakers against some of the playoff teams out there. The elite teams, not necessarily yet, because I only think there's a handful of elite teams. So I don't know if I really know from that perspective. So we'll talk about, can the Lakers compete with OKC, San Antonio, and the Boston Celtics? Those are elite teams. Hell, if you want to put Detroit in there, I don't blame you. Pistons beat the Lakers yesterday without their best player, Cade Cunningham. What does that say? Is that more just Lakers retired, or is there a bigger story there? But I do think we learned a lot. I got some good sound from LeBron yesterday that broke that down. I got JJ Redick giving his thoughts about this, what he learned about the Lakers over this last 10 games or so, these last 3 weeks. So we'll spend some time on that. Luka's run. There's a lot of people talking about Luka's run, what he was able to accomplish over this, this course. And now all of a sudden, not just in MVP conversations, is it like, hey, is he the MVP? We could talk a little bit about that. I thought this was, man, it's funny. Yesterday, I'm talking to a good friend of mine. I mentioned it in the postgame show. I'm talking to a good friend of mine, and we're talking about LeBron. And the conversation's coming up is like, hey, what if LeBron wants to come back to the Lakers? What if, he's down to take less money? Are you going to find a better player in the market than LeBron based off of how he's been playing? Well, I've been the one that's been talking about LeBron for a while now of like, nah, I'm good. Let's just start a clean slate. You got to make this fully Luka's team. You can't do that unless LeBron's gone. Is there a conversation now to be had about, hey, look at LeBron, look at his role. Are the Lakers better off trying to bring LeBron back? Now, of course, he's not going to get paid $52 million. He's not going to get paid $30 million. I mean, if you can get LeBron on a very reasonable team deal, do you want LeBron back, or do you still think it's important to start that chapter over? We'll get into that. I saw a couple of articles. They're talking about, obviously, we're in the middle of March Madness right now. I saw a couple of articles about the NBA draft and, all these different centers that the Lakers can choose from and everything else. A little bit later in the show, we're going to talk through some of the different draft picks the Lakers have made over the last 5-7 years or so. Man, if there's an area that this organization needs to improve, it's going to be so critical for them. Can they crop some of their own players and just have guys that are within the farm system? So we'll hit on that a little bit later as well. Then we got some NBA news. Lakers don't lose any ground. Houston loses yesterday. So we'll do all that coming up as well. Thank you again for being here. Please subscribe to the channel. I'll give everybody a quick heads up here real quick. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, I'm going to be giving away a one-night stay to Harrah for that Thursday post-game show that I'm doing. So we're going to hook up some listeners here as the rest of the week goes on. I've told you guys before, right now they're doing a special rate for us at Harrah SoCal, $99, harrahsocal.com/Sliwa, $99 to come hang out for that post-game show, Lakers and the Thunder. I'm going to do my show from Harris. We'll do a little viewing party and a post-game. But I also have a handful of giveaways that I can do. So if you can make it to next Thursday, a week from this Thursday, if you can make it out to Harris, make sure you're a part of that trivia that we got going on tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, because we're going to hook up some listeners, and then you're going to come hang out at the post-game show, and I'm looking forward to that. So keep that in mind. We'll talk about it a little bit later in the show as well, but I just want to give everybody a heads up. Please put it in your calendar. A week from Thursday, I'll be live at Harris, and, of course, want to have some listeners come join me for that. All right, let's take a look at a couple of comments before we get the show started, and then we will go from there. Sliwa, can I have your coffee? I ran out. Yeah, it's all yours. It's all yours, brother. You could have it, whatever you want. I got some people in the back here that are making macchiatos, cortados, lattes, and I don't even know another one. That's the best I can do. And just straight espresso shots. It's yours. I don't think I could, I'm going to be honest with everybody. I don't think that I can operate without coffee. I think I figured that out in life. I just can't go without coffee. You can't say thank you for the super, brother, without throwing a super, okay? It's my line there. All right, that's my line. I'm appreciative when they come in. They went at full strength. I know the Pistons weren't either, but let's not make it seem like they can't win against elite teams. Bron literally struggled to get 12. If he had an easy 16, we win by 2. Lakers weren't great yesterday, but, I think you also got to give the Pistons some credit. We'll talk about the elite teams because I think there's a lot of teams that the Lakers can beat. The question is, can they beat the elite of the elite? I don't think we have that answer yet. I really don't. So we'll obviously wait on that. Let's get another one here. JJ made big mistakes last night, not making challenge calls, especially when LeBron got hacked. That's actually a great point. The one where LeBron got hacked, I don't understand how they don't. Is it just me or can LeBron not get a foul call? I feel like these last couple of games, LeBron is aggressive, trying to get to the basket, and he can't get a foul call. But this one about the LeBron and the Lakers not using a challenge for that, I'm not arguing on that one. Definitely not arguing on that one. All right, let's get the show started. And we'll come back to some of those topics. I know some people here want to hit on, I know you guys want to hit on some of this LeBron stuff that I mentioned and some of these other topics. So we're going to get into all that. So everybody just kick back, relax. We got an hour plus to do this, and we'll take our time getting into some of these topics. So Lakers lose yesterday. That 9-game winning streak snapped. I said this right when the post-game show started, that hard for me to be critical right now on the Lakers because of how good they've played, how well they've done, how much they've changed the narrative about this team. And, it's just, you got to give them a lot of credit. But in regards to yesterday's game specifically, they had some chances to win that game. Certainly could have played better. I don't think that this is, a game for the Lakers right now where you're going to look back and say, oh, they really screwed up, or damn, they let one go. Maybe you could just make that case because Cade Cunningham didn't play. But here's what I will tell you. Clearly they need Marcus Smart. That's a no-brainer right there. These allergies are demolishing me. And I took some allergy medicine. What the hell's going on here? Okay, so real quick. So clearly Marcus Smart's got a lot of value. Him not playing in this game. No Cade Cunningham, no Isaiah Stewart for the Pistons. So I don't think anybody could complain. If anybody's going to complain about guys being out, it's going to be the Pistons. But having no Marcus Smart, no Rui Hachimura, that did have an effect for the Lakers. Give Jenkins a lot of credit. Jenkins is their two-way player that came in, 30 points, career high for him. Also 8 assists. He was phenomenal, so give him a lot of control or give him a lot of credit. Where Lakers lost the game to the Pistons yesterday. And again, I'm just going to highlight the game against the Pistons, and then we'll talk about a little bit bigger picture for the Lakers. But where Lakers lost the game yesterday, they lost it in that second quarter. They gave up 42 points. I think they gave up 23, 24, and 24 in the other three quarters, but they gave up 42 in that second quarter. And Lakers were kind of playing catch up the rest of the way. They went down by as much as 14, maybe 16, but I think it was 14. And then just killed themselves with the turnovers in the fourth quarter, had 8 turnovers in the fourth quarter. So, again, they had some opportunities. If you want to talk about some execution towards the end, that's fine. But I think we got to put in perspective what the Lakers were able to do over this 9-game winning streak, because here's a reality for the Lakers. The reality is I'm not going to overreact about the loss, even though they could have won that game, even though they had some opportunities to win that game. The team is not the same exact team as it was from earlier in the season. They're not the same exact team from a month ago. And I think the bigger question for me is, what did we learn over this 9-game winning streak for the Lakers? What did we learn? What is it that we could take away over this 9-game winning streak that would allow somebody to say, okay, you know what? This Lakers team, actually, they're a lot better when they do this. Individual players a lot better. Guys understand their roles. I think we could take a lot. But I think there's something J.J. Redick said in the postgame show yesterday that probably is the foundation of this all and potentially the most important thing. I want to play something here from I'm sorry. This is from LeBron. I want to play something here from LeBron, who's talking postgame about the Lakers, the loss, but what the Lakers built during their 9-game winning streak. Because I do think at the end of the day, this is probably the most important thing over that 9-game stretch. And then we'll start talking about what we learned from the Lakers over this 3-week stretch. Take a listen.
Just our mental toughness. Throughout, like you said, it's a couple games where we got down, a couple games where we got up. Teams made a run, took leads. We were able to stay resilient and come back. So we're tough-minded even with tonight. We got down again. First very good team on their home floor. Obviously, they had probably been waiting on this matchup. So it's been a long road trip for us. So for us to still be able to, have it's been one possession game come down the stretch. That's what you can look forward to that.
All right, so LeBron, I think he's spot on, which is also why I think, a lot of Laker fans that tuned into the postgame show last night or tuned in this morning, can you really be that upset about the Lakers? No, I don't think you can. This team, I'm going to go back to a couple of games Lakers had, a couple of losses they had before they went on this winning streak. You guys remember when they would play the Boston Celtics and Boston would go up like 10 or 12, and it's like, that's a wrap. Lakers are not coming back. And the more Boston kind of put their throat on the Lakers, the less Lakers fought. The Phoenix Suns game. Phoenix had no Dylan Brooks, no Devin Booker, and Phoenix with Colin Gillespie and Grayson Allen just dominated the Lakers. I mean, when I say dominated, I know it was a close game at the end, but the Lakers should have won that game by God knows how much. And it didn't, obviously it didn't pan out that way. It didn't happen that way. But we do understand that the Lakers went through a stretch of the season where it's like, hey, these dudes don't fight. They just don't. And I think what LeBron said yesterday, that there are plenty of times so far this season, and you take during this win streak, what we learned from the Lakers, they just play. They, second of a back-to-back against the Miami Heat, and Miami goes up early, they have every excuse to kind of mail it in. They don't mail it in, they end up winning that game. Second game against the Houston Rockets, where it's kind of clear that the Rockets now, they're taking the Lakers serious. They know there's a tiebreaker involved. Şengün is back. They're ready to go against the Lakers. And everything would tell you that, hey, this is going to lean towards the Rockets winning this game. Lakers find a way to win that game. The game against Orlando, do you give up towards the end? The game against Denver, a couple of minutes left, you're down 4. I actually think you're down 3. Aaron Gordon's got the ball. Do you give up in that situation? Like, they've had a lot of moments over this 9-game winning streak where I think what LeBron said there, just our mental toughness about the Lakers being able to compete now. It's a long road trip. It's game 5 of the road trip. They're 4-1 so far. I just got a very difficult time going at the Lakers and going at them too hard. What I learned over this 9-game winning streak for the Lakers is that they got some grit that I didn't know they had. They do have some mental toughness, that they can beat good teams. Of course, we know the Knicks, the Nuggets, the Timberwolves, the Rockets twice, Miami, Orlando. Go down the list of the good teams that the Lakers have beat. They can win close games. They can win grinded out games. They can win by blowouts. I learned Luka is just an absolute killer and is playing his best basketball as a Los Angeles Laker right now. I learned that LeBron can play a specific role for the Lakers, and he can change this whole conversation about, hey, can they only win with Luka and AR? No, they clearly need LeBron there. I learned a lot about this Lakers over this 9-game winning streak, and it's been fun to watch. And did they lose yesterday against the Detroit Pistons? Sure, of course they did. And did it look perfect? Absolutely not. Should they probably have won that game because of Cade Cunningham being out? You could definitely make the case for it, but I got nothing but praise for what the Lakers have been able to do because they've put themselves back in a conversation that I didn't know that we were going to get in. I got some stats here that I'm going to go through here real quick because I think it's important to point out. And then we could start kind of talking about, obviously moving forward for the Lakers and everything else. I don't want to just continue to sing Kumbaya because the question I have here is one of the topics is can they compete with the elite? I want you guys to define what that is. But here's what I will tell you with the Lakers. They're 46-26. They're third in the Western Conference. They've won 12 of their last 14 games. They only got 10 games left, so they're probably going to cruise past 50 wins. And frankly, I think they've basically already solidified the number 3 spot. I mean, if they go 6-4 over their last 10, no one else is going 9-1 of the teams that are behind them. And I think they're going to solidify that number 3 spot. And I think they're eventually going to put themselves in a position where, they're going to kind of chill for the last couple of games before they can start really worrying about the rest of the schedule. Lakers have the 27th toughest schedule remaining. And in March, they have 17 total games in 31 days. And so far they're 11-2. So it kind of shows you what the Lakers were able to accomplish. Couple other things I'll point out: 22-7 in clutch time games, first in the NBA, 24-7 in single-digit games, 33-1 when leading after 3 quarters, and 30-0 when they have a 14-point lead. So clearly what they've been able to accomplish, the conversation is going to change. Here's the question that I have for everybody, and then we could start taking it from there. How do you feel about the Lakers versus the elite? Because clearly they can beat Houston. They can beat Minnesota. They can't beat Denver. I think that'd be really tough. They can beat teams like the Knicks. They can beat teams like Orlando, Miami, all these other squads. What do you think of the Lakers against the elite of the elite? That's still a piece that I don't think we have an answer to. And frankly, we're probably not going to get an answer to until they got a couple games left here with the Thunder before the regular season ends. And then if they eventually face one of these teams in the playoffs. I want to play one more thing from JJ Redick, and then I'm going to start focusing on the comments here. JJ Redick said what he's learned over the last 10 games about the Lakers, and I think this will go perfect into our conversation. Take a listen to JJ.
With just sort of where this group is at right now as you guys head into these last 10 games?
That we're a good basketball team. I believe that we're a good basketball team. I thought we could be a good basketball team the entire season. We saw flashes of it. We saw short stretches of it, but we're a good basketball team, and I think we have to continue to play together and all that stuff. It is remarkable to me, and this is, again, not an excuse, but our winning streak has also coincided with us being healthy. And, you go watch, I rewatched the first Detroit game, and it's like, oh, this guy's out. This guy's out. This guy's out. Tonight, Smart and Rui are out. Not having Smart tonight killed us, that's important for us, that we can get healthy and we can play our rotation. And, post Luke trade, I think when all 9 guys have played, we've been a good basketball team. And I think Vando did a great job tonight. When he had his minutes, he was ready to play. But
But the way our team works, you need Smart for his ball handling, you need Smart for his defense, you need Rui for his shooting. Like, those pieces are important to complement everybody. And we need to finish the season strong, but we also need to finish the season healthy.
All right, good stuff right there from JJ. So I think that kind of sets it up as best as I can. That's the best that I can talk about over this 9-game stretch for the Lakers. And we'll get into what they look like against the best in the NBA, but pretty damn impressive run. So let's not forget, because 10 games ago, there was nobody that had any faith in the Lakers, probably even getting out of the first round. 10 games later, it's kind of a completely different team. It's a different narrative. It's a different conversation. They are playing much better. They do look like it's actually a team. There's stretches where they play phenomenal defense. And if that just has to do with the health like JJ Redick's talking about, or the mental toughness that LeBron's talking about, I don't really even care how they got there. But the conversation about the Lakers has changed, and it changed in a span here that was only 3 weeks, and obviously Lakers have played their best basketball. All right, let's take a look at some of the comments here. And as we go through this, I think we could continue the conversation. And then, I'll ask a question about the best of the best and the elite from there. All right, let me get a couple in here. Thank you for the super brother. Look, now we could say that. You can't quote "thank you for the super brother" unless somebody sends in a super. Okay? Got freaking rules that we got to abide by on this channel. The hell you guys think you guys are? Braun had no points in the first half because he got injured on his shooting hand, rubbed dirt on it to be solid in the second half. If healthy, Lakers cruise. Yeah, not worried about the loss. Just not worried about it. Would have been nice to win, sure, but what's they're in such a unique position because their next 3 games are all against lottery teams, literally against teams that have no interest in winning at all. If I'm right, it's Indiana, Brooklyn, and Washington, something like that. Those are the next 3, which right out the gate, if they win those 3, there's 7 games left, and they'll still have a minimum of a 3-game cushion left in the Western Conference at that number 3 spot. I'll go back to this. The health portion of things, of course, has a lot for every team out there. And I got a little bit different of a stance in yesterday's game, but I'm trying to look a little bit bigger picture right now in the Lakers. I got a little bit different of a stance when it comes to last night's game, because I give the Pistons a lot of credit for how they play, kind of roll up their sleeves, guys coming in out of nowhere, guys stepping in their role. For them to win without Cade Cunningham and Isaiah Stewart, I give the Pistons a lot of credit. If the Lakers were healthy, sure, maybe the Lakers do cruise yesterday. If the Pistons were healthy, maybe they cruise yesterday. So I give Detroit a lot of credit, but thank you for the super. I appreciate it. And very nice of you to get a 5 spot here. Maybe after the show, I'll go get myself a cup of coffee in appreciation of your super here, an appreciation of it. All right, let's see. Let's get some more here. 3 tanking teams incoming. Yes, they are coming. So you looked at the schedule like I did. And the only reason why I mentioned that is it's important to point out that as these tanking teams come, or whatever the case is, it's just another one of those. It's another win that you could have that separates you a little bit from all these others. Because the only goal right now, they got 2 goals left in the regular season. I'm going to tell you the 2 goals that they have left in the regular season. One is to lock up that number 3 seed, have home court in the first round. And the second thing is, how do you look against the Thunder? How do you look against the Thunder? That's the real barometer that's left. That's it. Because all these other games, some of these matchups, okay, yeah, they got a game against the Cavs. They got some other games that are out here. But let's be honest with each other here for just a second. All right? And this, I'm going to go back to, can Lakers compete with the elite teams? I saw something. I don't need to play it. I think we're good. But I saw something. Nick Wright, before the game yesterday, Nick Wright had before the Lakers and the Pistons. I'm going to read a quote from him. He was doing his show, and he said that right beneath OKC is the Spurs, the Celtics, and the Lakers. The Lakers can look eye to eye with Boston and can look eye to eye with the Spurs and everyone else in the league. The other 26 teams can look at them. I disagree with him. I still am going to have some hesitation of the Lakers. Can they compete? Here's basically what you're saying. If you're saying the Lakers can go toe to toe with OKC, San Antonio, and Boston, then what you're saying is the Lakers are a favorite to win an NBA championship. And maybe if you're trying to give up that pie and you're like, hey, OKC's got a 40% chance of winning a championship. Boston's got a 30% chance winning a championship. San Antonio has a 20% chance of winning the championship. If I'm doing the math there, if I'm trying to, what did I do? I gave a 30 or 40, 30, that's 70. So I got 10% left. And then you want to give 5% to the Lakers and 5% to the Pistons. I'm just using that as an example. I would not do my math that way. I don't think the Lakers are looking eye to eye with the Oklahoma City Thunder, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Boston Celtics. I don't. Now, if you want to make an argument that there's tiers here, and if you want to say in that upper tier, can I tell you something that's really funny here real quick? I'll tell you guys something. So I'm looking yesterday at the standings when I'm doing the postgame show, and I'm like, Lakers, snapped they had a 9-game winning streak. And I look up in front of them, and San Antonio and OKC are like, hey, do me a favor. It's really cute what you guys did over there. You won that. You guys won 9 in a row. That's very cute. Hold my beer. The OKC Thunder have won 12 in a row, and they did all that without Jalen Williams. The San Antonio Spurs won 9 of 10 like it was, yeah, guys, it's awesome what you guys are doing over there. We've been doing this all season. The Boston Celtics, who blew out the Lakers by 20+, I know the time of the year that they beat them, that was a different team. They did that without Tatum and then got Tatum back. So I'm not here to put the Lakers in that conversation. And frankly, probably the only way that can happen is they play the Oklahoma City Thunder. Remember, they still got 2 matchups left against the Thunder. They play OKC in these 2 games. And in these 2 games against the Thunder, they're both tight, competitive games. Oklahoma takes 1, Lakers take 1. Now you could kind of start saying to yourself, like, all right, this is the best of the best. And look how the Lakers performed against the Thunder. But I'm not prepared, even this 9-game winning streak, even with everybody understanding their role, even with everything that we learned about, look at Luka and look at the run that he's on. Look at LeBron, him understanding his role. Even with all of that, I'm not ready to put them in that conversation with those 3-4 teams, which, by the way, I also think now, if the Pistons are healthy and Cade Cunningham's there and Isaiah Stewart's there, they deserve the respect to be in that conversation with the Boston Celtics, even though I'd pick Boston over them in a 7-game set. But I'm putting 4 teams in that tier. And the Lakers, I disagree with Nick Wright. You could see eye to eye with them. How can you see eye to eye? You haven't played San Antonio yet. You haven't played Oklahoma City yet recently. The last time you played the Boston Celtics, they blew you out at Crypto. Where the Lakers have created in this 9-game, 10-game stretch is they've put themselves in the conversation with the Rockets and the Minnesota Timberwolves and the New York Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Denver Nuggets. Now, if you want to say they're better than those teams, I'm down to make an argument for it, but I still haven't seen them against the best of the best. And I'm going to hold some of my, narrative here until I see them. And maybe there's nothing left in the regular season, even if they go against the Oklahoma City Thunder, they hang with them. But I think if they do hang with them, then it becomes more of a conversation. But we're really probably not going to know whether they can hang with the elite unless you're in the second round and you're going toe-to-toe with the San Antonio Spurs. So I just think it's incredible to see everything that the Lakers did. And I look up at San Antonio and I look up at OKC and I'm like, these mother effers what do you mean they got 12 in a row? Everybody's been talking about the Lakers like they're on a 37-game winning streak, and OKC's like, yeah, we've won 12 in a row. Everybody's been talking about the Lakers. Yeah, they've won 12 or 14. Okay, or San Antonio's like, yeah, we've won 9 of 10. Not that big of a deal. So, obviously there's levels to this, and I think it's okay to have some hesitation based off of that. OKC games will show exactly who the Lakers currently are. I agree with you. And that, by the way, how great is that? That you still get 2 games left. I mean, this thing is so eerie. It is so, it's so weird how similar this is to last season. Even though I think this team is better this year than they were last year. I think they're deeper. I think you got more guys that you can rely on. I think Marcus Smart is better to have on this team. I think having Ayton and Jackson Hayes in a weird way, if you combine their points and rebounds together, not a bad center spot. Obviously, if you take both of those guys, combine them together, I think Luka's better. I think LeBron understands his role. I think JJ will be a better, a better coach this year in the playoffs. But damn, is it similar the way it's playing out? Because Lakers are looking like they'll be the number 3 seed. Looks like they'll get 50-plus wins. Looks like they'll have first round in the home. They'll have a home court advantage in the first round. They'll play OKC twice at the end of the season, the same way they played OKC last year at the end of the season twice. Kind of crazy how many similarities, but I do think they are better this year. Smart is the backbone and the hustle and the grind. LeBron being number 3 has also helped organize the team. I don't know if he's number 3. I just know that he's playing a role for the Lakers, and that's all that matters at this case. It'll be difficult to compete with OKC in a 7-game series. We have a chance against the Spurs because of their lack of experience. I'm not fighting that. I'm really not. I think there is something to that in regards to their lack of experience. I know I've talked about that before, but let's put it this way. The Lakers are also not going to be a favorite in that series. But they will have wild amount of experience over the San Antonio Spurs. All right, let's get another one here. Let's see. Slee, big fan. Finally catching the morning shows live now that I'm all right. You're the man. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. All right, let's see what else we got here. Spurs young legs will probably run us out of the gym. Let's appreciate Marcus Smart. I think, you know what? I think there's a lot of Laker fans that do appreciate him. I think there's a lot of Laker fans that definitely appreciate him. All right, let's get another one here. Seiko, I put my money on the Lakers over the Spurs in the playoffs. That'd be interesting. Listen, let's put it this way. It wouldn't be the biggest shock in the world that the Lakers beat a team because they had more experience in the playoffs. But I'm also going to give the Spurs a ton of kind of credit what they've been able to accomplish here because they also won, 3 of 4 from OKC or 4 of 5. They can be a nightmare. And I think the one thing that San Antonio does really well is they do defend. They got the perfect amount of defensive players to try to go up against Luka. I mean, I don't know who can go up against Luka, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So clearly they got, obviously they got areas of their game that, and then they got Victor Wembanyama, who's 7'2", and De'Aaron Fox is an absolute stud as well. I mean, I think we're so quick to just look at Wemby. They got some other real talent. Now for the Lakers to get obviously in a playoff series against San Antonio, they're going to have to win a first round. And I know we got, a ways to go until we get there, but we'll go from there. Seiko, thank you for the super. Hope you're doing good, brother. All right, how many fully healthy teams did they beat? But JJ crying about Smart and Rui, crying about fouls on LeBron, but Luka getting text rescinded. Weak. John, I appreciate the super. Yeah, okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't crazy about him talking about Marcus Smart and Rui Hachimura because Cade Cunningham and Isaiah Stewart weren't playing on the other side. So I'm with you on that. There was a little bit of hesitation that I had in my head, like when I heard that, when I saw that there, in my own head, I'm saying to myself, let's not be the ones to talk about. But I think what he was trying to say, I think he was trying to point out just how important Marcus Smart is to the team, offensively, defensively. I had a comment I read a little bit earlier. Let's appreciate Marcus Smart. I think a lot of people appreciate what Marcus Smart's bringing to the table for the Lakers. John, I appreciate the super. Thank you for throwing that in. Thank you for throwing that in. All right, let's keep rolling here. Let's give some love. I got to give a shout out here to one of our partners, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. This the guy. This freaking guy. Brad Wallace and the Wallace team. This guy's putting me in touch with other people. Hey, Slee, why don't you connect with this guy? I think he could probably help out with some back-end stuff on YouTube and stuff. This guy. It's almost like he's running an extra business by giving me some insight. Shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace team. I want to just tell everybody here, I know this is not the type of business where you pick up the phone and you just call on a daily basis. I hope nobody ever needs an injury attorney, but I do know how important that industry is to individuals out there that have been in a serious injury, a wrongful death case. It's a friend, a family member, or yourself that's in a situation where you're not sure what to do. Go to the website we created, wallacewins.com/Sliwa. If you go to that website, very simple here. You just get a free consultation and somebody can just point you in the right direction. I've had people to reach out to me on Instagram. Hey, Al, I don't know if Brad could help me here. What do you think? Here's an introduction. People have reached out. They've gone to that website. They've reached out directly. They've picked up the phone and they've called that number that we have here for the Wallace Firm. Trust me when I tell you, you can help anybody in the state of California. He's the best in the business, and he's a big supporter of the channel. One of the things that I'm trying to accomplish, anybody that becomes a partner that is soliciting their business on this channel, I want to make sure they also understand that we're going to do everything in our power that they believe that this is good business for them as well. And I know Brad believes in it. I just encourage anybody, if you ever need an injury attorney, please consider Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. wallacewins.com/Sliwa, wallacewins.com/Sliwa. All right, shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace team. Okay, I got a couple other topics I want to get into here, and there's been a lot of really, really good comments here everywhere. So everybody I know hitting on things. Let me jump around here a little bit because I got some stuff on Luka. I'm going to wait on Luka here for a quick second. All right, I think we understand what Luka's doing, but I think something that's going to be a bigger conversation here that I want to have. I want to play. What did I say I was going to do here? No, I don't have a clip here, but I'm gonna reference something from the Hoop Collective podcast here. Tim McMahon, Brian Windhorst, phenomenal. The Hoop Collective podcast. Shout out to Brian Windhorst, who I've known for a long time, has come on the channel and the show before. So I'm a big fan of his, respect his work. So Tim McMahon on the Hoop Collective podcast. I'm going to read this quote here from Tim McMahon. And I want to ask people about LeBron. I want to have this conversation about LeBron James because I've said this a lot and I'm not going to shy away from it. I've said this a lot. I have said that I hope this is LeBron's last year as a Laker and that the only way the Lakers can fully start to rebuild and to build around Luka is in order for LeBron's tenure to end with the Lakers. And what more do you want? He was here for 8 years, obviously accomplished a lot, won an NBA championships, a lot of highs, a lot of lows. It hasn't been perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Let me read this quote here from Tim McMahon, and I'm going to ask you guys this question. He said, this was on their podcast, LeBron's thriving in that role, obviously the role that he has now. And if you'd have told me in late February, hey, LeBron might actually be back in LA, which Windhorst always tried to leave wiggle room, and I never wanted to hear it. I'll listen now. They're enjoying they're enjoying each other. The chemistry has done a 180. All right. You read something here from Ramona Shelburne, who was on NBA Today on Monday, saying, the sense I have that this idea of playing for $50 million anywhere is probably gone. But if LeBron is willing to play for less, if that fits what the Lakers are trying to do, I think that door is open. Let me play a scenario here for everybody real quick. Let's make a quick assumption here. Let's say the Lakers, the offseason, you get to the offseason, LeBron is still playing a really good role for the Lakers. I'll use last night as an example. Struggled from the field, didn't hit anything in the first half, ended up with 12, 10, and 9. Like the guy is filling up the stat line. I don't think he's taken any shots away from Luka. I don't think he's taken any shots away from Austin Reeves. I think if there's anything LeBron's doing, he's being wildly pass first, pass heavy of a player. Very unselfish in the games that he's been playing with the Lakers. Since those stats started coming out about, hey, here's what the Lakers are doing. when LeBron doesn't play. Look how good they are. And then everybody started asking the question, hey, are they better off without LeBron? Well, I think it's very fair to say for the rest of this season, does anybody think the Lakers are better off with LeBron? Because I don't. And I think if you do think that, I don't know if you've been watching this 10-game stretch for the Lakers and how brilliant LeBron has been and how easily he's just filled in a role for the Lakers. And he's playing his role and he's playing it at an elite level. Let's assume that LeBron is still really good the rest of the season, plays his role, plays it in the playoffs as well. Off-season comes, and LeBron says, I want to continue playing with the Lakers, and I want to continue playing the same role. And yes, I know I'm not going to get $52 million. And yes, I know you guys got to go out there and go get other players, and we got to fill out the rest of the roster. And yes, I know you got to go find players that are 3-and-D type of guys that can help Luka, can help Austin Reeves. Don't give me 52. Don't give me 30. I'll take 20 million a year. What if LeBron also comes back and is trying to work with the Lakers as far as the cost to bring him back? And what if LeBron is willing to play game with the Lakers as well, bring his overall investment down, and still play this role for the Lakers in his 24th season with the Lakers, or I'm sorry, his 24th season in the NBA, and would be his 9th season with the Los Angeles Lakers? What do you think? Because, again, I'm going to go back to myself. I'm a perfect example of this. I was kind of stuck on this 3 weeks ago, a month ago. You asked me this question. I'm like, no, that's it. Guys, let them move on. Let's just move on. You got to rebuild with Luka. LeBron's making this a lot more interesting now. And a lot of it is going to come down to how the rest of the regular season ends, how he does in the playoffs, how the team does in the playoffs, and then what the finances would look like if we got to the summer and how much it would cost LeBron. But if LeBron is saying, give me a lot less than I'm making, go kind of do what you have to do in the offseason and then come back to me when it's time, and then we could kind of figure this out. I mean, it's a lot more interesting of a conversation than when it was. I mean, LeBron in this role and the way he's playing, if you could still kind of fill in the needs that you need in the summer and bring LeBron in at a, obviously on, I don't know if you want to call it pennies on the dollar, but a lot less money than he's making for $52 million. It seems like a lot more interesting of a conversation about LeBron and his future plans with the Lakers than LeBron deciding, well, I'll go play in Cleveland or I'll go play with the Golden State Warriors or whatever the case is. All right, let's read some of these comments here. By the way, I don't know if I'm fully convinced yet. Like I still feel like I'm not 100% sure, if I'm being completely honest with you. Because there is a part of me that thinks you really do need to turn the page. But if this man's going to be putting up 15, 8, and 8, playing a specific role, tell me where you're going to get a player like that in the market. You're not. He's been really good for the Lakers. He really has. And I think he's starting to make a much more interesting case than he has in a while. And again, we'll see what happens here. Okay, let's keep going here. Would be shocked if LeBron takes a pay cut to come back. Well, let me tell you this. I don't think Bron's going to go get $40 million a year somewhere else, 45 million, 50 million somewhere else. I don't. A lot of these teams don't even have the cap space to sign him. And if he wants to go back to Cleveland, maybe he could sign at, maybe he gives them a hometown discount because it is the Cavs. And maybe that's his plan to begin with. But if LeBron is demanding 50 million, then it's the decision becomes easier. I think the scenario that I'm trying to build out, and the reason why I'm not trying to play out a scenario where he's making, $50 million plus. The reason why I'm trying to not build out that scenario is because I think that one kind of says it all. If he's asking for that much money, then it's kind of an easy answer, right? So that to me is more of the question than there's a reason why I'm not playing that into the scenario, because if he's asking for 50, then I think we already got our answer. LeBron should retire next year on a pay cut. Pelinka should build actual contender to give this big three a chance. All right. Looks like we got a lot of people that have some doubts that LeBron would take less money. Let me see what we have here. Let's get a couple more of these here. The only difference between now and early in the season is that the big three are healthy at the same time. I don't know if that's the only difference. Let me tell you, I think another difference in that calculation. I think the other difference is LeBron is clearly playing a different role. JJ Redick went out of his way to talk about player usage and where he wants LeBron. Luka clearly, and Reeves, but I would say much more Luka, has been given the green light like no tomorrow. LeBron goes out of his way wildly to get the ball out of his hands and make sure others are getting fed first. So I don't know if it's the same as it was earlier in the season. I think there's also a pecking order that's clear now. And I think clearly we're kind of seeing what this team, what it obviously all looks like based upon that as well. LeBron is not coming back. New ownership is ready to move on. Could be right. Maybe you're right about that. Maybe the Lakers maybe that decision's already been made, but I'm not asking about ownership. I'm asking about what you guys think based off of the way he's been playing, how good he's looked, how well they've played together, how little it's got in the way of Luka, AR, and some of these other players. And if LeBron is saying, I'll take 15 to 20 million a year, bring me back. Let's do this again. Let's run this back. Let's get another one here. 10 to 15 million, 20 is too much. Can you re-sign Reeves and Rui while looking for another addition with LeBron taking 20 million? I will tell you this. The Lakers have as much flexibility as any team in the offseason. And they got 3 first-rounders coming. So they got a lot of flexibility. A lot of flexibility. By the way, is there a scenario out here, if you guys want me to go a little crazy out here, is there a scenario where Giannis wants to be a Laker? Lakers say, hey, let's bring Giannis Antetokounmpo. And then LeBron's like, I'll freaking take any money to try to go for another NBA championship. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, there's a lot. There's definitely a lot that can play out in the offseason, but I think this is a fair question. Let's get a couple more in here. The bigger question is what to do with Reeves. Lakers need to explore a legit second option for Luka before they give Reeves a lot of money. I actually think this is fair. I think it's a fair question. Or you got to build a freaking really nice team around those two players. Hey, I said this in the post-game show yesterday, and I'll say it again. I still think Austin Reeves is going to be one of the biggest question marks coming into the playoffs. And either Austin Reeves is going to quiet a lot of critics, or Austin Reeves is going to make that voice that much louder from Laker fans and everything else. Either he's a really good player, or he's an okay player. And if he's an okay player, trust me when I tell you that conversation about Reeves is going to get louder and louder. So you think you could find someone to get 15, 8, and 6? No, I don't. That's why I'm having the conversation. What LeBron is able to do at this stage of his career, and really what he's done his entire career, he just still fills up the stat line. And he still is a very unselfish player, and even more unselfish now than he's ever been, because he's got a player like Luka and he's got Austin Reeves, and he's like, I'm just going to play a role. And frankly, I think what's happened is his narrative, there's a much more positive narrative around LeBron because he's been able to play the way he's playing. I think there's less people bitching about LeBron. I think there's more people that are probably saying, hey, maybe he can come back next season. And I think by LeBron playing this style, it's also created a different narrative around LeBron, which I think is beneficial to him. Your question here, can you find anybody that's going to give you 15, 8, and 6? No, you can't. What you're going to try to find is a 3-and-D player. What you're going to try to find is somebody who's younger, who's got, who's faster. There's different roles that you're going to try to find, but to try to find somebody giving you 15, 8, and 6, I don't think is possible, and it's probably not going to happen. So I hope that answers the question. All right, let's give some love to Harris Resort SoCal. All right, here's the website, harrissocal.com/Sliwa. Eric, do me a favor. Pop up harrissocal.com/Sliwa, because I want everybody to see it. A week from this Thursday, we're going to be out at Harris SoCal. Obviously, it's a road game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're going to do a viewing party from there. I got an awesome little section over at Harris that they got fit out for us. couple of big screen TVs there as well. Bar over to our left. $99 to book a room. Come hang out with me for that post-game show and the obviously the event as well. We got 10 of these rooms that we have available. So we got kind of a cool little intimate setting that we're going to have there. Might even have somebody playing records in the background. So I'm looking forward to the event. The other thing that I'm going to tell you is I'm going to have some really cool prizes that I'm going to be giving away at the event. And one of those prizes is going to be a gift certificate to one of these ticket brokers where you can buy game 1 tickets to the NBA playoffs. So trust me, I got this thing all planned out. The only thing I need from you guys is if you're able to come out there on Thursday of next week, come out and hang out, whether you're in San Diego, Orange County, or in LA, come out there. We'll have that event set up. Like I said, harrahsocal.com/Sliwa. If you go to that website, $99 for a room. So they're giving us obviously a special rate for the event. Tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, I'm giving away a one-night stay for that Thursday. So we're going to have 3 different listeners that are going to get a chance to come out to that event, and you're going to be comped for your room. But you could also just do yourself a favor and just buy the room for $99 because it's such a great rate. Please keep that date in mind. I'm going to obviously pump this up as much as possible and blow it up. And I'm going to take care of any of these listeners that come out. So I'm looking forward to having you guys come out to that event. HarrahSoCal.com/Sliwa, HarrahSoCal.com/Sliwa. Shout out to Harris Resort SoCal. And we'll keep pushing this event. Listen, it's the first time I'm doing a post-game show on site. I've never actually done a post-game show on site. So that's going to be fun to do, and I'm looking forward to it. So I got to get my people out there. I got to get some listeners out there. And then this is going to be one of those events where instead of putting a question in the comments, I'm just going to pull you up because I'll have 2 mics and you can ask a question on the mic. All right, let's get some more in here. If Luka wants a ring, then you better beg the Lakers to ensure LeBron comes back. Interesting. Imagine if somebody said this 3 weeks ago. LeBron has a presence and a high basketball IQ along with 4 rings. That's interesting. That's why I'm telling you that there's a narrative with LeBron that's starting to change. There's a conversation about LeBron that's starting to change. And that conversation is people think now, wait a minute, this guy's not hurting the team. This guy's not hurting Luka. This guy's not getting exposed, this, that. No, he's playing a role for the Lakers. And because he's playing that role, there's a lot more positivity in regards to that. LeBron's offseason will hear other teams pitch for him to sign. I don't think he'll even give Lakers a listen. Could I tell you this? If I'm also another team here, isn't the stock for LeBron also going up? Because isn't there other teams saying, wait a minute, if LeBron will do this for the Lakers, can we be on a contending team and make a pitch for LeBron to come here and have a chance at winning an NBA championship, have a role where he can be 15, 6 and 6 a night, can kind of get out of the way? That's an interesting observation, that maybe there are some teams out there. I know Cleveland is the team that we keep talking about, but depending on what other teams do in the offseason, do they pick up the phone and all of a sudden ask LeBron, do you have interest of playing with us as a contender? LeBron's kind of, it's an interesting narrative that he is starting to change in regards to all this. So it's going to be interesting to watch. But I think the bigger question for me is asking Laker fans, would you want to see LeBron come back based off of what he's done here over the last month or so? Let's get one more in here. Rather the Lakers use the money to get some elite players, not a 42-year-old. Yeah, I'm not here to argue that, because I've been saying that here for the last, obviously for almost the entire season, but I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that LeBron is starting to kind of change a little bit of my narrative as well. Let's see. Somebody here says Ramona says, bring Braun back for $20 million. 20 might be the right version. That might be the right dollar amount, where, yeah, he's making less than half what he was making, but that's okay. You got a chance to You got a chance to obviously you got a chance to win a championship, and you also got a chance to play a specific role. Richard says, would love to show up to that. Sounds really cool. Richard, show up. Guarantee anybody that shows up to that Harris event, you're not going to be disappointed. Can guarantee you that. Absolutely can guarantee you that. Look at that. I'm putting everything on the line here. We'll have a good time out there. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see some more here. Let's see. Braun is still better than 70% of the league at 41. That's crazy. Well, I'm going to tell you guys this. This kind of accomplished everything that I was looking to accomplish in regards to that. Okay. I want to do one more thing here before we get to the NBA news. Eric, do me a favor. Just put up your, that thing that you had here. And I'm just going to talk on this on my own. I want to show everybody here some draft picks that the Lakers have had. And the only reason why this is a conversation, there's one thing that I want to emphasize. I saw an article on Lake Show Life, and it says Lakers center options endless in the draft. And it talks about how the first couple of rounds of March Madness it showed all these picks. I'm not a huge college guy, so I'm not going to, especially with San Diego State out of it, I have no interest. But I mean, I'll watch Sweet 16 on. I'll start watching these games. The article basically talks about on Lake Show Life. It talks about how there's all these centers that the Lakers will have an opportunity to kind of try to pick their future center and everything else. And then Eric, who produces the show, put this thing together, and he was showing that, or is a tweet that was out there. It shows some of the Lakers picks over the years. So Lonzo, obviously part of the AD trade, Mo Wagner, Isaac Bonga, Svi Mikhailiuk. Anyways, that's another example. THT. In 2020, they had the 28th pick. Jaden McDaniels traded him for Dennis Schroeder. I don't know if a lot of people know that. The Lakers could have had Jaden McDaniels, Isaiah Jackson, Max Christie, Jalen Hood Schifino, Maxwell Lewis, Dalton Connect, Bronny James, Adu Thero. Here's the point that I'm trying to make here. Lakers got to clean up their freaking picks. So with this new ownership coming in, and that article about Lake Show Life, look at all these great centers that the Lakers can go after. If there's one area that I'm really, really hoping, and I got a lot of confidence in, that new ownership is going to clean up, and they did go out there. They got Tony Bennett, who obviously has got great history in college basketball. If there's one area that the Lakers got to clean up, you got to start cropping your own players. I mean, if you're relying on every single season, you're just relying on going to try to go get some type of, what is this? If you're relying on free agents and, guys in the buyout market and this and that, you have to crop your own players. So hopefully starting this summer, the Lakers can really start getting their franchise in order when it comes to drafting and developing players. Because if they're not able to do that, I'm sorry. Go look at the San Antonio Spurs. Let me give you a great example. You want to talk about the elite of the elite in the NBA, where I said the Lakers, give me the top 4 teams in the NBA, and the Lakers are not in that category. They're not with the Pistons. They're not with the Boston Celtics. They're not with the Spurs. They're not with the Oklahoma City Thunder. You know what all 4 of those teams have in common? They have cropped and developed their superstars. Not all of them. I know Shea came in a trade and everything else, but De'Aaron Fox came in a trade as well. Go look at some of the players those teams have drafted. If you're going to have long-term success in the NBA, you better freaking draft and develop your players. And if there's one area for the Lakers that they have just been absolute shit, it's that area. And you can't, by the way, this is every single sport. This is not just in the NBA. If you're going to be good in the NFL, if you're going to be good in baseball, if you're going to be good in any of these sports, if you're going to be a business that is successful, you know what you need to do? Have some young kids that come out of college. You start kind of cropping them into being good employees, and then eventually they might be running your company. But you cannot have a successful organization without having good players that you're drafting and developing, and that starts at your front office, it starts at your scouting, it starts your analytics, and it goes all the way down. And if there's one area that the Lakers have been so bad at, how can you be this bad? Which I'm telling you this more as a positive. It shows you the area of growth that the Lakers can have. Yes, you're a franchise that can attract stars. Yes, you're a franchise that can go out there. You got the brand of the Los Angeles Lakers. You got one of the most popular brands in the world. You have the Southern California market, but you're a global brand. Laker fans are not just in LA. Obviously, everybody knows that. Hell, look at me. I'm born and raised in San Diego, and I'm a Laker fan, right? They're everywhere. They're all over the country. They're all over. I'm talking about some of these road games. Go look at the Lakers when they were in Orlando. All these fans that are sitting there in Orlando, but you got to be able to draft and develop. So all I'm saying is this, that as we sit here today and watch March Madness, enjoy it, articles are going to come out and say, look at all these great centers that are out there. If the Lakers cannot start drafting and developing, they're just going to keep chasing their own tail. I do think this new ownership will put the right resources in the front office. I do think this will become less of a problem as this, franchise develops over the next 3 to 5 years. And then eventually you're going to be able to hit things from a couple different areas. You're going to be able to say, yes, we can go get big time free agents. Yes, we can find free agents that want to be Lakers, but just as important, we're drafting and developing. So I just want to get that off my chest because that has been on my chest. Eric, you could take that tweet down because I'm going to just get angry and angrier looking at the trash that the Lakers have put together. Now, listen, not all of them. Max Christie is obviously a nice player. Lakers did a good job of finding Austin Reeves, Alex Caruso, even though they let him go. I'm not telling you that the Lakers have been absolutely awful, but what I'm telling you is they got to get so much better. That's it. They got to get so much better. Maybe they have been awful. Maybe I'm trying to be a little bit nice here, and I shouldn't be that nice. All right, let's keep rolling here as I got a couple of NBA stories to get into. No Laker game obviously tonight, so we'll be able to we'll be able to hit on that. Okay, let me just find this. A lot of comments coming in here. Roger, just thank you for the super. He doesn't have a copy. He doesn't even have a comment. He's just here. It's $1.99. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Alan, solid coffee and Lakers talk. Got you. Preach, Slee. I'm a preacher. Come to my church, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., Monday through Friday. Trying to run a church here. All right, let's a couple NBA stories, and then we're going to get the hell out of here. Bulls beat the Rockets yesterday. Another reason why that loss against Detroit did nothing to me yesterday. It didn't really kind of affect, and I think for a lot of Laker fans out there, again, I go back to it. I know a lot of people wish they got their 10th win in a row and no Cade Cunningham. I get all that. I understand that. However, it didn't affect them in the standings. Rockets are not a team that you can rely on. Bulls beat the Rockets 132 to 124. I'm not sold on the Rockets. I'm not sold on Minnesota. Denver's the only team that I worry about, but Denver's also, I think now, 3 games behind the Lakers plus the tiebreaker. So I'm just not too worried about it. Now, the Thunder beat the Sixers yesterday. They're on a 12-game winning streak. Games tonight, see if there's any good ones. Magic at the Cavs, that's a decent game. Denver at the Suns. So the Nuggets at the Phoenix Suns. I think this is an interesting game. I think that will be fun to watch, and we'll see what happens here. One other thing to point out, Steve Kerr says that Steph Curry will play in the play-in tourney if he's healthy. We're not chasing a play-in berth. We are squarely in the play-in no matter what we do. Bottom line, if Steph is healthy, he's going to play because that's what we're here for. The chance again in the playoffs is a big deal for us, big deal for Steph. You want to talk about just a complete, train wreck. Golden State Warriors. A lot of it's got to do with injuries, but that's what happens when, you got aging players. And also a franchise that for some reason just absolutely hated Jonathan Kuminga, I guess. Sir Deezy is a new member. Thank you for becoming an MVP member, brother. I appreciate you very much. Every Friday at 10 a.m., we do a member show, $3 a month. Great way to support the channel. Shout out to you, brother. I'm going to leave your comment, or I'm going to leave your new membership right here. anybody could join. You could just hit join, $3 a month, great way to support the channel. All right, let's finish off the show by saying this. I'm going to put this on here one more time because I'm going to push the hell out of this. HarrisSoCal.com/Sliwa. $99. We got about 10 rooms available that we can sell to come out and be a part of that post-game show next Thursday. If you can make it happen, you want to make it happen, would love for you guys to be there. Again, I'm going to push it all week. And if you do come out there, you'll get well taken care of. Trust me, we'll have a good time out there. And again, it's $99 to be a part of that event. Not to be a part of that. You come, the event is free, but it's $99 if you want to stay the night. We got exclusive rooms there for that rate. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'll be giving away a room night for that Thursday. So we're going to be doing that. So tomorrow, get ready for some Laker trivia because that's what we're going to be doing. I appreciate you guys all being here. Thank you for being a part of the show today. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. And I will see everybody tomorrow at 8 a.m. And then Lakers obviously will have a game against the Indiana Pacers as well. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.